Okay, well, lots of love to all of you silent wonders. All right, so let's get started. And let's take a comfortable seat. So just making sure that you have something comfortable to sit on and that you're sitting high up enough that your hips are higher than or at the same height as your knees. And just so, and you can always sit on a chair just to start with to be comfortable. And from there, just finding your way to shift your hips on your seat and feel your sitting bones shift. And then coming to center. And so I think some of you know, I'm not sure if the change in nomenclature happened through Willow Street's website, but this is still a class for sanctuary. So it's still about being able to find that place within that is pure and unchanging, and a sanctuary and a home and a garden for us too, the inner cave of the heart. And so it's still a sanctuary, and yet we will be cultivating calm and finding calm, but we'll also be navigating a little bit more how to work with being in fierce times like we are. So as you're sitting well, and I'd like you to first just feel your roots. So imagine that your sitting bones were growing roots all the way down. Your tailbone was growing roots all the way down through the earth, as if you were settling into the soil, sending shoots into the soil to find nutrients, 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet through the rocks and minerals, down deep into earth. And so from this place, just taking a moment, we'll take just a few letting go breaths as we land, as we transition into our sacred space of yoga, as we step into our own sanctuary. And so we'll just take a few breaths together. You can take a deep breath in and just sigh it out. Make any noises you want. We'll take 2 more like that, really letting go, maybe sticking your tongue out. And 1 more. And just feeling that anything that you might still be holding on to, or anything that still might be immediately around you, that you can just let it rest off of your shoulders, slide off of your shoulders, so that you're not carrying all the weight of the world, all the weight of the people, all the weight of responsibility, that you can just be. So you can really let your shoulders drop, let everything that you're carrying drop. Just invite everything that you're carrying to drop, and let this be the place for you. And so from there, I'd invite you to just turn into the physical sensation of your muscles and bones that are holding you up, their strength, their solidity, that earthy, steady quality. Let yourself be supported by your muscles and bones. And then maybe turning your awareness to the flow of the blood, the heartbeat, the liquid energy moving through your body. Perhaps even the sense of the moisture in your mouth or your armpits, that sense of the water element. That flow, the flow of aliveness through you. And then perhaps turning to the sensation in your belly, the digestive fire, the gastric energy, which churns your food into life force. Or you might feel the energy of the mind. It's the synapses, that electrical neuro energy moving through the body is the quality of fire. It's just bright. And then turning into the element of space. So you might notice the space between your eyes, the space between your ears, the space in the center of your head, the space in your torso or in the abdomen, the space of the pelvic bowl, the space in the arms and legs, in the center of the arms and legs, maybe the space even within the cells. And so we just honor all the elements that are not separate from us, that we are a part of. And then I'd invite you to call upon, to invite, or to invoke the forces of grace in the universe, honored and recognized by all traditions, all contemplative traditions. Perhaps to call upon the forces of love, which birthed us. Or any other forces that support you. And we ask that benevolence, that grace, that love to be present with us in our practice, to know that regardless of if we feel it or not, that just by extending the invitation, we're tuning ourselves to those frequencies to be more receptive to what's always there, what's already there. And we remember that life is not a problem to be solved. And that this being human, this journey of yoga, is how do we meet ourselves? How do we meet whatever is happening with grace? And many times it's not immediately apparent. We don't know. I grew up a Quaker more than anything else, and there's a phrase that Quakers have that says, way opens. And when we don't know the way, that we have to be able to trust, to not try to force a door to open when there is no door yet, that we can perceive. And just by softening, that alone, we can start to maybe see things or be aware of things as they become apparent, as they emerge. We remember life is not a problem to be solved. And that our journey is one of reconnecting over and over again, remembering grace all around us, grace that is our very nature. And we can bring our palms together in front of our heart, or just crossing the hands over the heart and honoring this heart, this tenderness, this soft, tender space. Even if it doesn't feel tender, it feels tight, that even at the very center there is softness. And we honor the heart with 3 sounds of Om. The sound of Om, the pranav, it's the aliveness of the universe that's present within each and every one of us, all around us. And you can just listen to my Om if you'd like to resonate and vibrate your own Om. You can do that as well. So we'll empty the breath and take a deep breath in. Bow our heads to our hearts. Slowly release our hands, lift our heads, open our eyes. And I'd like you to start lying on your back. And in case you couldn't feel it, I was sending that Om out to each and every one of you. I was literally projecting it into each of your spaces, each in your homes, to wrap you all around you. Somebody felt it. I got a thumbs up. Good, I'm glad. All right. Okay. And as you're lying on your back, I'd like you to place one hand on your belly, around your belly button or below your belly button, and one hand on your heart. And we'll just take a few breaths there. If your low back is tender, you can bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor. The feet can be wide, the knees can drop in, or you can just extend your legs. And we'll take a few deep breaths and just honor the breath. And just feel that with each breath, you are connecting to that aliveness, that grace, that flow which moves through you as your aliveness. Maybe connecting to your breath as a force of your breath loving you. And seeing if you can really enjoy the breath, the tenderness, the deliciousness, the letting go, the touch of the breath, any aspect of the breath. You might notice with your hands on your abdomen where you feel your breath. If you feel the breath more in your chest or your belly, and if you feel it more in your chest, you might see if you can just gently invite a little more breath on the inhale into the belly. A little more softening and expansion in the whole lower third of the abdomen. And you might also feel or imagine that there is a central channel running through your body, just in front of your spine, like a golden column of light from the crown all the way to the pelvic floor. And your hands are over two of the points over this column of light. Just connecting to center. And then as you're ready, you're going to roll over onto your belly. You can place your hands under your forehead, and the elbows can be wide. So just lying on your belly. And we'll continue to just connect with the breath. So most of the lungs are in the back body, and now that when we're on our belly, you're compressing your belly a little bit so that there's an opportunity for more of the breath to go into the back of the body. This is actually some of the latest research that's coming out about how to support people's lungs, make sure that they're getting good spaciousness in their lungs. And so here, as you might imagine, each wave like a breath, each breath like a wave, excuse me. So there's a rise, and there's a top point, and then there's a descending, and then there's a bottom point. So that you feel each breath maybe like the waves coming to the shore of your being. So that there's a constant pulse. You know, there might be a very, very short pause at the top or very short pause at the bottom. But the breath is always moving, which is like the flow of life. Everything is always changing. That's the good news right now. Everything is always changing. Sometimes it's not the good news, but it is the truth. And so in yoga, there are great teachings around this, which speak to the different phases of the waves. There's this energetic, active, fiery phase. There's the kind of heavy, dense, gravitational phase. And then there's the in-between, which is the kind of still point. And so none of them is really better than the other. We just always notice that they're changing. When you notice if you're feeling heavy or overcharged today, or right now, you're just in one of those phases of the wave. And if you pay attention for long enough, the good news is it will shift. And we can do that consciously with yoga. So I'd like you to keep your hands under your head and now bend your knees so that your feet are pointing up to the sky. And we're going to do slow windshield wipers with the breath. So you're going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to slowly let the feet drop over towards the right. And notice that the left hip wants to come up a little. That's okay. Just notice what happens. And then inhale back to center. And then exhale, slowly drop the feet over towards the left. The right hip will come up a little bit and also anchor. Inhale back to center. So I'd like you to follow your own breath 4 more times. And I just want you to feel what's going on as the ankles move. There's a little bit of opposite movement in the opposite hip. The other hip will lift, but it also needs gravity to keep you from flipping over, right? So there's always an opposite energy happening. Something might look the most dynamic, but there's always something else going on to balance it. And so try to just sync this with your breath. I know we oftentimes do this to clear the low back or to move fast, but this is really, we're meeting ourselves where we are. If you feel any discomfort in the low back, just lengthen your tailbone towards the knees. And maybe one more time each side. You might even feel that your legs and hips are moving around the central channel of the body. Good. And then you can place your legs back down. Let's take a moment to notice a full cycle, a full wave of breath coming in, cresting, going back down and coming back up. And then I'd like you to bring your hands by your sides, back by your sides, so the fingertips are pointing towards your feet. And now we're going to move also very slowly and consciously. And you're going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just shift your hips over to the right. You're just kind of like rotating or maybe twisting a little bit, and then inhale back to center, exactly. And then exhale, shift your hips to the left. And inhale back to center. So these are just exploring movements around the spine, around the hips and lower body. So again, coming back to center, you might again feel that central channel in front of the spine from your crown all the way down to your tail, extending the tail. So we're just exploring. You might not get a lot of movement. That's okay. The goal is not how much you move. The goal is, can you coordinate your breath? Can you notice what's balancing you? So as you kind of tip or shift, what's balancing you? Good. Okay. And then let's come back to center. And as you inhale, some of you are going to come onto hands and knees. Those of you who are not weight bearing on your hands or one of your hands, you could come onto forearms. Is that at all? Sandra, you just give me a nod if you can you do forearms? Or you can actually also do this on your chair. You can bring, Sandra, you could bring your forearms onto your chair. So that, yeah, good. And so we're going to here in this table-like position, inhale and shift your hips over to one side and back, then exhale back to center. Inhale, shift your hips to the other side. Exhale back to center. So we're just practicing shifting the hips. Now notice that the farther you go, you might get more unbalanced. So you might want to see if you can feel more connected to that central channel as you're just shifting. So when you move slowly, you give the tighter parts of your body an opportunity to speak to you. So you're not just compensating with all of the wiggly bits. I love this. You all look like a very beautiful pack of elephants. It's great. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then as you come over to shift on one hip, and again, for those of you, if you want to come up onto a chair, so your forearms are on a chair for less weight bearing. So as you take a big inhale, exhale, shift your hips over to the right, and now turn to look towards your right shoulder, towards your right hip. Good, so a little side bend, stretching through the body, sides of the body. Inhale back to center, and exhale, shift your hips to the left. Turn to look over your left shoulder towards your left hip, breathing into the right ribs, and inhaling back to center. Good, and you can continue that way, seeing if you can bow the opposite ribs out, and just gently, gently making room for the breath. Good. And then come back to center. And now some of you might want to take your one leg out behind you. let's all do the same leg. Left leg out behind you. Cross your left leg over your right ankle and shift your, turn to look over your right shoulder. And breathing into the left sides. Good. And see if you can relax the shoulders. Nice, delicious breath. And inhale back to center. Good. Again, on elbows or forearms. Take your right toes straight back. Maybe cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Good. Pause. Find your central channel here again from your crown to the base of the spine. And then keeping that center, you can start to turn to look over your left shoulder and deepen the twist maybe a little, or the side bend a little bit more, breathing into the side. And again, relaxing the shoulders, collarbones are broad. Feel the breath moving in and out of you like a wave. And then inhaling back to center. Okay, coming on to hands and knees, or forearms and knees. And we'll start, I'll give you some options. So you can inhale, lift the sitting bones, look forward, and exhale into a cow pose. You can inhale, arching the back, long spine. Maybe some of you want to exhale into a child's pose. Some of you might want to inhale to a long spine and exhale into downward facing dog. I'll give you about 3 rounds to just explore the waves of the breath, the waves in the spine. Explore what your body wants to do. Your body might want to stay in down dog. Your body might want to stay in child's pose. So this is really about what would you most relish in the wave that you're in right now. And so then wherever you are, I'd like for you to either take a child's pose or a down dog on your exhale, and we'll stay for 3 breaths. And for those of you in down dog, you might want to pedal one knee, stretch to the opposite heel. You might want to wiggle through the hips, shifting the hips side to side, really opening up the hips a little bit, sides of the hips a little bit. Good. Okay. And then let's come back to table pose, onto all fours or onto your forearms. And let's take your right leg straight back, tuck the toes under, and just give a nice stretch. Really press through the back foot, through the whole sole of the foot with your toes tucked under. Really nice, strong stretch. Now, you might feel disconnected from your left side, so you want to feel that central channel, or imagine the center of your body. Again, we meet life where we are by coming back to our center. So to feel your center, you might feel that you're hugging your hips together, your navel gently supports your spine. And from that, you stretch through the crown, stretch through the back heel. And then you can release, and we'll do the other side. So taking your left leg back and pausing, tucking the left toes under, grabbing the mat. Trying not to overarch in the low back, so your on the upper back, so your collarbones are nice and broad. Your spine is nice and vibrant and alive from crown to tail, from tail to crown, and that stretch continues all the way through the back heel, out like you're pressing the mat away from you at the back of the mat, like you're pressing the crown forward, like your spine is effortlessly expanding. And then you just notice the waves of your breath in and out, and then coming all the way back. And let's make our way up to standing. Some of you might want to come through down dog. Some of you might want to just come all the way up to stand. That should be all of the lower body supportive work for those of you, or excuse me, upper body supportive work, so you know where we're going. And coming to stand on your mat, feet a happy distance apart. And just feel your roots really grow deep. All the way down, like at the soles of your feet, especially the heels were growing roots. And you could even shift side to side and really reinforce the roots growing nutrients down through the soil. And then come to center, feel the weight even on the feet. And let's inhale, float the arms up, feel the roots go down as the chest lifts, maybe the throat opens. And then exhale from the heart, spread out through the fingertips and all the way back down to the sides. Let's do that 2 more times. So you're growing the central channel down through the floor and then up through the crown, and exhale, feel the space all around you. From your center expanding, so your center is literally that core channel of the body. Not core muscularly, but the energetic center. Let's do that 1 more time. So from the center, reaching down, out, and up, keeping that lift as you reach back out and down. Okay. Let's do 1 more time. Inhale, reach out and up. Eventually find the palms together. Trace the midline in the front of your body, your center. As you start to bend the knees slowly, exhale, and you're going to bring your hands to the front of your thighs, and whatever hands are available, give yourself a massage. The knees can bend. And as you inhale halfway, long spine, you can massage back up to the thighs, stretching your tail back and your crown forward. And then exhale, massaging back down. Shift your hands to the back of your legs or hand. And as you inhale halfway, massage the hands up. Come on with a half back, a flat back, long spine. Backs are never flat, sorry. Exhale, massage as you come back down. Knees can bend as much as you need. And then let's inhale, hands to the outer side of the leg, the outer plane. Massaging the legs as you come up halfway. Exhale, massage half on the outside as you come back down. And then let's, as we come up the last time, bring the hands to the inside of the legs. Massage the inside of the legs, coming all the way up. Hands trace the midline, the center of your body, all the way up to the sky. And then exhale back down in front of your heart. Just pausing. Maybe feeling any residue of that self-massage. It's really nice to be able to touch ourselves in a time where that is not possible with many people or with anyone. Maybe our special animals, but to really be able to send love to ourselves and to receive that. I invite you to do that. Okay. So from here, let's come down to kneel, and you might want to pad your knees. So you can pad your knees with a blanket. And you might want to kneel, well, that's okay. However you are, let's kneel. We can bring your hands to your hips. I've got my toes tucked under behind me, so that I'm grabbing the floor with my toes. And I'm feeling that center of the body, nice and tall. So from the side, you notice that I'm not flaring. I'm finding that the length in my low back comes as I'm having a sense of my hips rooting down, like I'm growing roots down the back of my legs. Okay, and then I'm going to take my right leg out to their side. And wherever it is, it's really nice if you can do this so that your right leg can grab the mat, because otherwise it can be a little slippery. So some of you might want to reorient. Don't worry about seeing me. And so back toes tucked under, right leg out to the right. And you can take a big deep breath, find yourself nice and tall. Find the crown reaching up and that central channel pouring all the way down the base of the pelvis through the bottom knee. Let's take the left arm and inhale, windmill it up towards the sky, and exhale it back down behind us. We're just opening up the left side of the body here. If your shoulder is wonky, you can bend your elbow to do this. So we're just big circles, feeling the space around your arm. One more time. Okay. And then let's inhale the arm up. And you can start to slide your right hand down the right leg as you arc over into the side body, the left side, nice curve. Your feet are really grounded, growing roots. Your tail is grounded, growing roots. The head is nice and relaxed. If you feel any tension at all in your neck or shoulders, you can bend your left elbow, bring your head behind your hand, press the head back, and then feel the space in the left side body. The waves of the breath. Let's take 3 delicious breaths. Enjoying the breath, that flow that is constantly moving through you. Each breath an opportunity to cleanse, to let go. Each breath a rejuvenation. And then you can inhale, extend the left arm. If it's bent, come all the way up. Good. And then we'll do the second side. So now taking your left leg out to the left and tucking your right toes under. And once again, you want to feel that nice length in your spine. So you might feel that the flesh of the buttocks reaches down, not gripping, but lengthens. And from that, you might get a rebound as the spine gently elongates. And then we'll take the right arm, inhale the right arm up, and exhale it back. Again, if you've got wonkiness, it's a technical term in your shoulder, you can bend your elbow. This is not about pushing. This is about meeting yourself where you are. Let's take 3 more. Enjoy this space all around your breath, all around your arm, all around the right side of the body. Good. And then inhaling the right arm up to the sky. Feel that you're not trying to pull the arm out of the socket. Again, you're meeting your arm where it is, so the right shoulder can relax down, but your crown is simultaneously lifting as the root, the central channel goes down, the tailbone goes down through the right knee into earth, deep into earth. Keeping that 2-way stretch as you exhale, sliding the left hand down the side and arcing over to the left. Again, you can bring your right hand behind the bulbous part of your head, not your neck. Press your head back, relax the right shoulder, and then curl maybe with a little bit more space in the right ribs in a way that is enjoyable, that is relaxed in the neck, that is life-affirming, that is grace and love-affirming in the right side of the body. Opening space for the breath, for the aliveness, for the nourishment, for the rejuvenation that comes with every breath, for the cleansing that comes with every exhale. Enjoying. As you inhale, you can extend the right arm straight and come all the way up. Good, bring the knees back to center. And let's find our way back to standing. You can take the blanket out of the way. And just taking a moment to find your feet a happy distance apart. Good. Okay. Let's step the feet nice and wide, so wrist distance wide. The ankles are wrist distance apart. And you can turn your right toes out, your left toes in, and bend your right knee. The right knee should stack not beyond the right heel. And from there, feel your hands on your hips, grounding your roots down through your heels. Have the sense of that rootedness. Take your time and establish this connection with earth, this earth element, this stability. Right now, there's so much interesting information about what's happening on the earth, all of the animals coming into public places. There's just a lot of the integrity that's emerging, and we want to reconnect with that because we are part of it. And so from that, feel how there's maybe a rebound up the central channel, up through the base of the spine, up to the crown. And then you can inhale, Windmill the arms open out to the side. Turn the palms up like your arms are just resting in water. The roots are still anchoring you. Exhale, you can float back. Nice little side bend. Left arm maybe just touches the left leg. Exhale, you can start to bend the right elbow, coming into an extended side angle. We'll float with the breath. Inhale, push down into the earth, into your roots to come up. And exhale, float back. So we're really just light touching. You don't even have a chance to collapse in the hips because you're pushing off of the earth and feeling the space in the center of the body. And maybe one more time. You can always rest in one of these poses if that's calling to you. Again, I'm just offering a guide. This is your practice. Good. And then we'll come back to center and turn the toes to face the opposite way. So the left toes turn out now, the right toes turn in. Bending the front knee. Knee does not come past the right ankle, hands on the hips, and take a moment to land. One of the beautiful things that's happening right now is we have an opportunity to move slow, to move slower, to pay attention to our transitions. And so to be very thoughtful about them. And so as you find this new stance, let your heels anchor. We're sided, and so this sense of rooting through both heels might feel different than the other direction. So feel yourself root. Even feel the tail root. The flesh of the buttocks doesn't grip, but it lengthens your low back down, and so that you can feel this rebound up through the core. You can inhale your arms up and out, turn the palms up, relax the shoulders down. Feel this nice bright spaciousness at the center. Take a big inhale, exhale, float the right arm down, lifting the left arm up. Exhale, left elbow can come to left knee, right arm reaches overhead. Inhale, root down so much through your feet and heels. There's no pressure in the hips. So you might not come down as far, but you might feel that space. So we're really expanding from the center of the spine, from that energetic cavity, that energetic beam in front of the spine. One more time. Again, moving slowly. Or if one of the poses is calling you, resting there. Good. And then coming all the way back up. Heel toe, the feet back to center or step back to center. We'll just pause. Feet a happy distance apart. You can extend your fingers very gently so that you feel an aliveness and awakeness in your palms. And just as you're growing roots, so all poses are mountain pose. It's a relatively simple, straightforward pose. So that we're always trying to recreate this feeling of centeredness, of stability, of spaciousness, of ease. And so seeing if you can connect to the steadiness of your legs. They're not collapsed, they're not out to lunch. They're steady and they're holding you. And from that rebound into the earth, you might feel that central column of light from the pelvic floor to the crown be a little bit more spacious, a little bit more elongated, a little bit more easeful. You might feel that the heart energy, or from the center of the heart, is extending out through your arms and fingertips, so that you're sending from your central channel, from the grace and love, which is the very center of your being, of your existence, that you're just effortlessly sending it out around you into the world. We'll take 3 breaths. If you notice any thoughts here, just remember that, like the mountain, Everything else is just the weather. At the top of your mountain, there is weather. There are clouds and winds and rain and hail and heat. That's all just the weather, just like your thoughts. You are the mountain, unchanging. Energy moves around you, through you. You remain the mountain. Okay. And then as you're ready, let's find your way onto your back. Make your way onto your back. And you can bend your knees. And just take a few moments there. You might want to land with your hand, once again, on your heart, one hand below the belly button. And just take a few breaths, reinforcing again this central column of aliveness, of deep inner connection that runs from the pelvic floor to the crown, in front of the spine, from the crown to the pelvic floor. You might feel the breath just moving in your center. Feel those waves. And then you can take your arms out to the side, take your feet a little bit wider, as wide as the mat. Feel that your heels were growing roots once again. So your knees are still bent. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, drop the knees to the right, turn to look towards your left shoulder. I'll give you the option. You can either inhale, come back to center, and exhale to the left side. You can windmill with your breath, or you might want to hold on one side for 3 breaths. I know several of you have had a yoga practice for a long time, so just honor what feels good to you. If you want to move with the breath, around center, so you're literally spiraling the lower limbs and upper limbs around that central column of light. You might feel that as you spiral, the belly moves in the opposite direction as your legs. The belly moves in the opposite direction of your legs. And you honor your breath. And you feel the waves of your breath and the waves of movement and pause. And we'll just take 2 more breaths. Good. Good. And then coming back to center. And you can keep your left leg planted, bring your right knee up, and just start to circle the right ankle. Circle the right ankle. Try to just move the ankle. Try to just move the ankle. And then circle in the opposite direction. I love this screen full of waving feet. So you guys have just made my day. I got so many feet waves. And then come back to center. Well, you can keep the knee up. And now you're going to circle from the knee. So try to just move at the knee. Don't move the hip, just move the knee. You might need to root from your central channel down through the opposite heel. Try to just move the knee. Yep. Just make it as smooth as you can. And then in opposite direction. Good. And then now you can move from the hip. So you can make circles. Your knee can stay bent. Some of you might want to extend the leg a little bit straighter. The knee might still be bent, but it can be straighter up towards the ceiling. And you can make circles from the hip. Try to move from the hip joint. Really good. Yeah. The knee that is circling is the leg that would be straight. The opposite foot is still rooting, Ashley. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. There you go. That should be a little easier. Good. If you haven't done the opposite direction, good. Okay, and then coming back to center, just drawing both knees into your chest, giving yourself a little hug, just noticing whatever you notice. All right. And then you can keep your right knee in, bring your left leg back down. Bring your hands behind the right thigh. Bring your hands behind the right thigh. Squeeze that knee in as close to your chest as possible. Ground down through the left heel and start to extend your right leg to the capacity that you can. Just to the capacity you can. Now, I'd rather have you keep your knee close to the belly and have a bent knee. Yeah. So rather than going for a straight leg, keep the knee close to the belly and just bend, just straighten to the extent that you can. You're still getting a hamstring stretch. And then relax the shoulders and breathe from that central column, from the crown to the pelvic floor out through the leg. Relax the shoulders. Let's take 2 more delicious breaths, easeful breath, easeful breath. Good. Okay. And then you can cross your right knee over your left knee. Cross the knees. Good. Squeeze, cross at the knees, not the ankles. Squeeze the knees together. Good. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, drop your knees over to the left. You can take the arms out to the side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop your knees over to the right. Turn to look towards your left shoulder. Good. And so following the breath, this is just a little variation to get into the outer hips. Follow the breath. Again, your belly moves in the opposite direction as your knees. It's that counterbalance. Good. Belly moves opposite to the knees. Squeezing the legs together, you're finding center. You come back to center. All right. One more breath to the opposite side. And then let's come back to center. Unwind your legs, draw both knees into the chest. Give yourself a good hug. Okay. All right, bring the feet back down. Good. Ground through your right foot, so both knees are bent. Ground through your right foot. Lift the left leg up and start to circle at the ankle. Just the ankle. You might really want to find your roots in the right leg. You can imagine that you're moving through golden light or rosy red light or crystal blue light. You could just give me a little wave with your foot and then moving in the opposite direction. It's like a foot symphony. I'm hearing Beethoven's Ninth right now, like the feet are playing Beethoven's Ninth. Just thought you guys might want to know. You're giving me that little image. Yes. Okay, and then let's relax the ankle and now move just from the knee. So just from the knee. Try not to move the hip. In order to do that, again, you have to stabilize. Find that central channel up through the body, through the core, and ground through your opposite heel. Yeah, so the movements might be smaller, but they're more isolated. And reversing. Good, okay. And then coming back to center. And now you can start to extend the left leg a little bit more and start to move from the hips. So some of you, the leg might be more bent, and some of you, it might be a little more straight. You want to do this so that there's no discomfort in the belly or low back. Again, grounding through your opposite leg will help you stay centered. Moving from the hips and reversing directions. Good, okay, and then drawing both knees into the chest, just taking a moment to notice, side to side. Give yourself a little hug, receive that hug. Okay, now bring the right leg back, right foot back down, clasp behind the left knee, and draw the left knee close to the belly as you ground the right heel. Keep your left knee as close to the belly as comfortable. and start to extend that leg. And it doesn't matter how straight it is. I'd like you to keep it as close to the belly as you can. Relaxing the shoulders. Now let's take 3 deep breaths. Enjoy the breath emanating from your belly out through the leg, from your belly down through the opposite foot. Staying centered as you also maybe elongate your crown away from your bum. Breathing effortlessly. Feel each wave is like a caress. Each wave of breath is like a massage of grace. It's like a wave of love. Good. And then let's exhale, cross the left knee over the right knee. Good. Squeeze the legs together so you find center. You can take the arms out to side. Squeeze your hips together. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, drop your knees over to the right. Turn to look towards your left shoulder. As you look left, your belly is rolling left. And then you can inhale back to center. So crossing at the knees, not the ankles. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. Turn to look to the right. Belly rolls right. And following your own breath. So this big spiral, like you're wringing out a towel around. And you know, as you wring a towel, or as you're hand washing something, there's that center. So your spine is that center. Your abdomen, your belly rolls away from the extremities. Your belly rolls away from the knees. And you're making space for yourself to meet yourself where you are. Good. Let's take one more each side. And it doesn't have, you don't have to go very far. We're just finding some space in the hips. Good. And then coming back to center and unwinding and giving yourself a big hug. Being the receiver of the hug, you might slide your hands just below your knees onto the shins, drop your shins wide, and rock side to side, relaxing the pelvic floor. It helps to make space for the breath. We're making circles, massaging the sacrum. Good. And then finding your way into your Shavasana, whatever props you need. Move very mindfully as you set yourself up. Yeah, if there's any final poses you want to take, you can do that. Make yourself comfortable. Build your nest. This is a treat for yourself. We'll do a Yoga Nidra. I'll guide you through a Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a practice to help you come into a place that is more restful than sleep. It's a place of awareness and yet deep rest. And so you can start by first extending your right leg, squeezing all the muscles of the leg. Lift the right leg just an inch. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale, completely relax the leg. You can rock it side to side. Let it relax. Just letting the body know the difference between engagement and release, reminding it. You can inhale, extend the left leg, squeeze the muscles, lift the left leg just an inch. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale. Rock that leg side to side. Let it rest. You can squeeze the buttocks, maybe feel the hips lift. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale. Let the hips sink. You can inhale, make a fist with your right arm. Lift your right arm an inch off the ground. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale. Let that arm relax down. Palm face up if that's comfortable. You can make a fist with your left hand. Lift the arms, squeeze the muscles, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale, let that arm go. Rock it side to side. Let it rest, palm face up if it's comfortable. You can inhale, shrug the shoulders towards your ears. And then exhale, let the shoulders relax. Inhale, shrug the shoulders across the chest towards center. And exhale, relax. You can inhale, slide the shoulders down the back of the body. And exhale, relax. You can turn the head from side to side, relaxing any gripping in the neck, releasing, and coming back to center. You can move the jaw up and down, softening any gripping in the jaw. Like you were chewing a giant piece of bubble gum, and then relax. You can squeeze all the muscles of the face towards the tip of the nose, the lips, the cheeks, the eyes, the forehead. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale, relax. You need to make any physical adjustments to the body, you can do so at this time. And then we'll go through each part, letting it release anything it still might be holding on to. Releasing the toes and the soles of the feet. Relaxing the tops of the feet and the ankles. Softening the shins and the calves. Relaxing the fronts and backs of the knees. Softening the thighs. Releasing your hips and pelvis. Relaxing your seat and the low back, the middle back. Broadening, softening the upper back. Releasing the low belly, the organs, the lungs, the heart soften, the chest. Softening the fingertips, the fingers, the palms and backs of the hands. Relaxing the wrists and forearms, the elbows and upper arms. Relaxing the shoulder blades and the shoulders, the collarbones, the neck and throat, the chin and jaw. Parting the lips, parting the teeth maybe, letting the tongue be plump and soft, broad in the mouth, plump at the back of the mouth. Releasing the inner cheeks and the outer cheeks. Relaxing the sides of the face. Letting the inner ears deepen and soften. Relaxing the nose, the nostrils, the bridge of the nose. Letting the eyes rest heavily, liquidy in their sockets. Releasing the eyelids, the eyebrows. Relaxing the temples and the skin of the forehead. Relaxing from the hairline to the crown, the sides and back of the head. Softening the whole head. Releasing the whole body. For just a minute, noticing the breath in this relaxed state. And then letting your awareness rest into the deepest part of you, a place that is unchanging, a place that is spacious, filled with light and ease. It's filled with aliveness, consciousness, a place of deepest and rejuvenation. Let your awareness rest in this aspect of self, which is your true nature, for the next several minutes. Notice your breath moving through your body. Receive a deep, delicious breath in and offer a deep, cleansing exhale. And receive another deep, nourishing in-breath and offer out a deep, sweet exhale. Bringing gentle movement to the body, sliding the thumbs over the fingertips, wiggling the fingers and toes, hands and feet, arms and legs, turning the head from side to side, just gently awakening the body, stretching, taking your time to roll over, taking your time to pause and press up to a seat. We're going to do some Pranayama, some breathing and meditation. I'm just taking your time to sit well. And once again, finding your comfortable seat, feeling your roots. Once again, from your sitting bones, from your tailbone, from the pelvis, like you were really settling and rooting, anchoring. Letting the bowl of your pelvis, the roots become very heavy, the outer hips, growing roots, even the outer legs growing roots. And from that feeling, a gentle lift from the base of the pelvic floor up through the central channel of the body, the central column, filled with light all the way through the crown, effortlessly lifting towards sky. You can, on the inhale, let your chest lift and open. On the exhale, let the shoulders relax down the back. And just taking a few deep breaths, inhaling into the abdomen and exhaling, consciously drawing the navel into the spine so you're not overarching your back. Inhaling, big full three-dimensional breath, exhaling, activating the hara, the center, belly. One more big inhale and exhaling completely. And then just coming to your natural breath and natural rhythm. The palms can rest, index finger touching thumb, palms down for grounding, palms up for energizing, or simply resting the right palm in the left palm. And just taking a moment as you close your eyes or gaze down to feel the breath float in, smooth and effortless. Feel the breath float out, smooth and effortless. Each breath a wave cresting, coming to shore across, the wave troughing and rolling back out to sea. So smooth from the start of the inhale to the end of the inhale. Smooth as you transition from inhale to exhale. Smooth from the start of the exhale to the end of the exhale. Smooth as you transition from exhale back to inhale. So allowing this practice to have a degree of effortlessness to it, a degree of ease. And if you notice your mind, you can just simply acknowledge the mind as infinite creativity, as aliveness. And then come back gently to this practice of letting the breath smoothly come in and out. And for some of you, that might feel like a great practice. That might feel like enough. And for some of you, you might also be able to notice, to let your awareness rest, even very briefly, at the tiny pause as you transition inhale to exhale. It's not a holding of the breath, it's just letting your awareness rest there. And perhaps letting your awareness rest at the tiny pause at the bottom of the exhale as you transition from exhale back to inhale. So you can just let your moment rest. It's like a just brief noticing And the inhale, the next part of the breath comes naturally, the inhale or the exhale. So you're not holding, in no way are you holding the breath. And again, if your mind is active, that's okay. It's what minds do, it's their job. You just acknowledge it, and then you come back to the breath. No matter how many times you get carried away, no matter how far you get carried, coming back to the breath. Again, just smooth, effortless, perhaps noticing in this effortless pause. For some of you, this might feel great. For some of you, you might want to add a mantra. The sound of the natural mantra, hum on the inhale, sa, the sound of the breath going out on the exhale. Hum, the sound of the inhale coming in, sa, the sound of the exhale going out. In Sanskrit, it means I am that I am. I am that consciousness. I am that light. I am that healing, that awareness, that aliveness, that flow. That flow, that healing is me. That consciousness, that healing is me, that aliveness. I am that sanctuary is me. Hum, sa. And just rest in any of these practices. Doesn't matter which one resonates. It's not important at all. They are all doorways into the same sanctuary that rests within. When we get lost, we begin again. We come back to the breath. We receive the breath. We offer the out-breath. We find smoothness and effortlessness. We notice the pause. We find the mantra. So you're ready, you can release your practice. Bring your palms together in front of your heart very tenderly, honoring this center. We honor the sanctuary that yoga helps us to get access to, that helps us to find and remember as our truest home, the home that is always there for us no matter what weather is happening outside and around us. But we remember there are thousands of doorways and pathways back home. And each day there might be a different set of them that work for us, but we know that we can get there. And so to that, you can take a deep breath in, ending with one Om. The light in me bows to the light in you. May all beings know joy and the causes of joy. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings know the deepest joy that lies beyond suffering. And we offer this practice for the benefit of all living beings in the earth. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. I'm just gonna unmute everybody.